Hi, I'm Pamela Loneman, and I'm a professor in the Developmental Studies English Department at Lone Star College-Kingwood. Welcome to the Learning Lab. Today we're going to be discussing avoiding sentence fragments. In other words, making sure your sentences are complete. In order to be complete, a sentence must have a subject and a verb, and it must express a completed idea. Note, it has a capital letter at the beginning and a period at the end, and a period equals a full stop. It must have end punctuation. For example, my homework is taking every waking hour. Complete sentence. It includes a subject, my homework, the verb is taking, and it expresses a complete idea. I'm tired. My homework is taking every waking hour. Remember, a sentence is not complete or correct unless it has a subject, a verb, and it must express a completed idea. These are examples of fragments. My math homework. There's no verb. It does not express the action. Taking every waking hour. There's no subject. It doesn't explain who or what is taking every waking hour. Because my math homework is taking every waking hour is also a fragment. There's no completed idea. Because of this what? Common fragment types. The appositive phrase. Words that explain or add information. For example, I tried everything I could think of to get an A. That's a complete sentence. Such as bribing the professor is an appositive phrase. It adds more to the previous sentence, but it is not a sentence by itself. We combine those, and one way might be like this. I tried everything I could think of to get an A, comma, such as bribing the professor. It's just an example of what this person's tried. Sometimes we see fragments also in prepositional phrases. I hope to complete the requirements for my major. That sounds good. That's a complete sentence. By the end of next semester is not a complete sentence. It's a fragment. It's a prepositional phrase. If we combine those two, I hope to complete the requirements for my major by the end of next semester, then we have a complete sentence. Incomplete verbs. Past or present participles without the helping verb. For example, the student sleeping in the back row. What about him? What about the student? The student was sleeping in the back row. Now we have a complete sentence. Dependent clauses. Dependent clauses are groups of words that contain a subject and a verb, but it doesn't express a complete thought because of the very first word in the dependent clause. I kept working on my essay is a complete sentence. But look at the second sentence. Although I was tired. Although I was tired means nothing by itself. It's a dependent clause. It relies upon an independent clause to be connected to it to make sense. For example, I kept working on my essay although I was tired. Although I was tired is still a dependent clause, but it's joined to the independent clause that does make sense by itself for a more complete sentence. One very common problem area. It's okay for a subject to be a pronoun. For example, I can't decide what to do. It is a difficult situation. In the second sentence, the subject is the word it. The verb is the word is. The completed idea is a difficult situation. As long as there is a word that acts as a subject, in this case the word it, the sentence fits the subject, verb, completed idea formula. So it's fine for a pronoun to be used as a subject. How to check for fragments. Put the words, "it is clear that," in front of the possible fragment. Does it make sense? If so, it's a complete sentence. If you put the words, "it is clear that," in front of what you think is a sentence that you've written and it does not make sense, it's not a sentence, it's a fragment. For example, "it is difficult." Is that a fragment or a sentence? It is difficult. So say to yourself, "it is clear that it is difficult." That makes perfect sense, therefore it's a sentence. "Because it is difficult." Is that a fragment or is it a sentence? Again, put the words, "it is clear that," in front of what you think is the sentence. It is clear that because it is difficult. That doesn't make sense, so it's a fragment. Just because you write a lot of words, you don't necessarily have a complete sentence. For example, "Although I have tried many ways to get an A, such as paying off the professor and offering to carry her books to class each day and assuring her that I love my writing class more than life itself," what? Your sentence is going absolutely nowhere. It is an incomplete thought. You haven't finished the although idea, so you haven't finished your thought. When you haven't finished your thought, you haven't finished your sentence. But you knew that because you remembered that a sentence is not complete or correct unless it has a subject, a verb, and expresses a completed idea. Thank you.